Alright guys, so here's some more PTR stuff, and most of this is I was just looking at glyphs and I realized I hadn't looked at them and talked about them, and some of them seem interesting. A couple changes I noticed was there's a detox glyph. So the first thing I looked at was like, okay, Death Knights. That's generally it, maybe rogues, but I would say Death Knights because they usually would allow me to just dispel disease on pretty much anyone that mattered. Um, they're just always out. So I can heal them for 23k every 8 seconds if the DK is intelligent and actually uses diseases, which, frankly, does more than 23k, but you can do it at a set given point and theoretically reduces Scourge Strike damage. So it would actually do stuff. So it's cool. It's situational. Main point I'm looking at is like when I was playing Monk Rogue, I didn't really need Perilous Glyph at all. We weren't dumb enough to have dots all over the place. We weren't doing any like crazy swaps where I need to get off hemo things, and even then, if we did, we could just do it with blind. So, in some things I don't need Perilous Glyph and I could change it out. In some things I don't need Touch of Death Glyph if, say, I'm playing with a Warlock and they have Shadow Burn. I really don't need Touch of Death Glyph. They can just kill for it, and that's generally what I've been giving up for it. So, you could use that one. The Expel Harm Glyph allows you to heal allies with it, which is actually pretty fucking cool. And I think I'm going to use that one a lot and just have macros for it because I do a lot of overhealing with Expel Harm because you can't parry it and it generates chi. So I use it regardless of its healing function, and I can just throw it on someone to try to top him. Like, if my priest has corruption on me, has no danger of dying, it's better than 100% overhealing to go with 90% overhealing and just top him and make the corruption tick stop. Or not stop, but make his missing health go, and he's theoretically less likely to be swapped to, even though it doesn't really matter. It's just less of a waste. So I think both glyphs are pretty cool. There are a couple other ones. They made Fortifying Brew less terrible. Um, you lose 10% of the health you gain, which is pretty fucking good considering monks, healing elixirs, and potentially the other talents that go off percent health. So that could be useful. And then you get 5% damage reduction. So probably not worth it, but potentially worth it. I don't really know. I don't really see it, just because you get so much regen out of like Fortifying Brew and that proccing Nimble Brew, or not Nimble Brew, healing elixirs and actually doing stuff. So I don't see it being that good, but they changed it to where it's not randomly bleeds, which was just a pretty crappy glyph. Um, they changed Glyph of Transcendence. Instead of longer range, it's 5-second cooldown, which 45 seconds to 40 seconds, and I don't think any monks except healer monks may be transcending on cooldown, so I don't think it really matters. Again, if you're in a situation where you have no effective glyphs, sure. If I'm playing with a Warlock, granted then I need Perilous Glyph, so I can't really get rid of it. Warlock where I don't need Touch of Death Glyph, I could potentially use it if there's nothing else worth getting. If there's no diseases, I won't be the target, blah, 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 blah. Glyph of Nimble Brew heals you for 10%. Now, that one's tricky to me because your trinket healing you is kind of nifty and all, but I don't really use them based off of healing and thinking that it'll actually give me expel harm, or not expel harm, healing elixirs. I use it based on what I need to get out of. If there's a chance I'm going to get blinded and I get put into a kidney that I have to trinket, I will nimble brew it. If it's an off kidney or if they're actually focusing me. If I need to trinket it, I'm going to nimble brew it because there's the risk of me getting blinded and someone getting swapped to for 8 seconds, which would be terrifying. So I feel like it's a nice glyph considering that you can get 25% of your health back in a stun. Like, against a fire mage, for example. If he deeps me and pyros me once, and I nimble brew it, and I get 25% of my health back, granted I'll probably be playing with cloak, so I won't get 25% of my health back, but shut up, this is an example. I get 25% of my health back, it negates his entire burst and I'm not deep frozen, and my healer doesn't actually have to do anything, so it also like negates their CC chain. The two stacked greatly reduces the amount of like your healer needing to trinket as well as you to get out of CC, so it's okay. I don't think I put it in anywhere, but it does heal me for whatever it is, 40k. Potentially more if you have fort or healing, whatever. Not healing elixirs, fortifying brew up. Powered fortitude or fortifying brew. That's what I was looking for. I feel like there's one more. Oh, there's a rolly one. And it makes you roll further on your second roll, which would just be fucking confusing, man. Rolling further on the second consecutive roll? Ugh. It would be weird. I'd just be like, wait, why did I go that far? I could never play with it. Okay, it'd be cool leveling when you actually have to cover distance like before you have a mount. you could roll further and you'd get more distance and save a little bit of time. I still wouldn't waste the money to buy a glyph while leveling, though. So, I don't know. It's more useful than probably whatever it replaced, because we had a lot of useless glyphs. But, yeah. What else? Glyph of Sparring is the same, unfortunately. I would have much preferred it gave me, like, flat damage reduction, and then, in exchange, took away the increased random parry chance that I get. If it gave me 15% damage reduction, and removed the ability to randomly proc Sparring and auto attack back randomly, which apparently hits for like 70k with stacks up, which is pretty fucking funny. For like being AFK and having someone hit you, seeing a crit pop up as a counterattack for like 70k is hysterical. But it's not. Wow, nerf fist. Okay, I promised I wouldn't say this, but yeah, that damage is dumb. So I really wish they would change that glyph to give me something damage reduction-y, but I also hate it because it's entirely RNG. Like, I don't need a chance to deflect spells on top of deflecting melee attacks. I just don't like the RNG of it. I don't think anyone really does. I don't think people fighting monks like the RNG of it, and I really don't want to fight a monk with it because it's completely RNG. There were a couple changes. Oh yeah, one of these games, Zon just decides he doesn't give a fuck. I think it's in the next one. And I summon him. It's versus Warrior Pharaoh. And he just goes, nope. I don't wanna, and leaves. He doesn't want to hang out with me. The guy's just too cool for me. Let's see. What else have I missed out on while not doing stuff? They made Chi Burst not entirely as terrible as it formerly was and doesn't require a target, which is kind of nice, I guess. Maybe if you use it in raids, it's still a terrible ability and don't use it because it has a cast time. Even if it didn't have a cast time, I'm pretty sure Chi Wave is just god anyway. That ability is actually just godly. With 15 stack, or a high amount of stacks, it's like 60k a tick. It's crazy. It heals you for like 240k minimum. I actually have no idea what it crits for. But yeah, that ability is just the best. What else? I made Ring of Peace disarm for 4 seconds instead of 3. I actually hope that goes through Weapon Chain. Simply because you take the risk of DRing your own disarm, and you know it will be DR'd. So if you just get a 2-second disarm, it's pretty pointless. I don't like the setup of it being half. I don't like the way it functions with DRs. So that's one of the things I'd like to see changed. Even if it was just 3 seconds and bypasses the disarm, I would like it to not DR. Because, well, a 1.5 second disarm, it just becomes not noticeable. It's just like, oh. Especially for classes that bypass it. I'm like, oh, you disarm me. For one global, I'm going to hit Chi Wave instead of Rising Sun Kick. Then I'm going to Rising Sun Kick you, re-get disarmed, and it's less duration than my GCD, so maybe you'll get less of an auto attack. But that's like it. I don't know. That just needs to function differently, in my opinion. Fuck, there's something else I forgot. There's something I wanted to talk about. I'm so upset I can't remember. Oh, sorry for being slow on videos. I know, I'm the worst. I was trying to see what Detox Glyph healed for in this clip. It's like 23k. I went and did the math. Anyway, I'm sorry for not uploading as much, but the Summer Games Done Quick speedrun thingy was too much fun to watch. And then TI3, the Dota 2 tournament, comes on. Like, what is it? It's the second today? Yeah, it's the second today. Like, tomorrow, I think it starts. And if you're not watching it, you should be. I don't know where it's actually at. I don't know if it's going to get its own channel or if it's going to be broadcasted on Toby One or Beyond the Summit or something. But if you ever have played Dota 2 or Dota 1, I suggest you watch it because it's going to be awesome. And yeah. SGDQ was awesome, but it's over so you can't watch it. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm being slow. No one really wants to play PTR with me, and everyone's getting into like semi-serious mode for actually finishing their rank 1 teams and blah 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 blah. So no one has the spare time to play with a poor punch monk all by himself. And I'm just not really playing all that much because there's so many interesting things going on. So it'll pick back up soonish, I hope. But yeah, for the next couple of days it'll still be slow, and then I'll try to like work out a schedule again. But yeah, this game, Zon just didn't show up in this game. If you want to go back and look, he literally does not give a fuck and has left the building. I want to go make sure and double check it really quick. Hold on. Yeah, he actually just never came out to play. He just left. What an asshole. He's also off the GCD now, which is fantastic because you could now actually macro in your stacks to Zon if you want to. Although, given the strength of Tiger's Eye Brew now, I'm probably going to stop doing it. But if you want to, you can. The speed of which you generate Tiger's Eye Brew, which is technically a little bit slower, just makes it to where, and the strength of actually stacking them, just makes it to where you might want to use Zon for just AoE cleave pressure. Like if you're playing Affliction Lock Monk, Druid or something, and you summon Zon, and he just like goes out. I think there's one more game after this. Maybe one more game after this. And he just goes out, yeah. And does like AoE pressure during Demon Soul. And then like towards the end of Demon Soul, once Fear DRs reset or, some shenanigans like that, Warlock stuff, you have 15 stacks. Zon is still going to be out because he lasted 45 fucking seconds. You could pop 15 stacks. Where, if you pull out Zon, people generally get scared and will like chain CC you. Because they think the Lightning Kitty that breaks CC is scary and a cooldown, and it technically is a cooldown, but it's not really a cooldown. Yeah. So, it just feels like there's more situational uses where now I'm just like, yeah, whatever. It'll make a Swifty macro. It'll work. I'll pay attention to my GCD when I use it. Other thing I want to mention, I absolutely love and hate this gear at the same time. For the first time since, like, BC or some shit. Yeah, like the BC, I think they were Japanese designers of all the BC vanilla gear. Maybe it wasn't even BC. No, some of the BC gear too. Like the original Judgment T2 Pally set. You guys should know what I'm talking about. If you don't, make a Pally, go get it. That gear's fucking awesome, even though it's overused. Those sets are just like renowned godly. Like they're just, without a doubt, the best sets in the game. Here's Expel Harm. I forget what it heals for. That actually healed for nothing. I should pop stacks here, but I didn't. Expel Harm actually saved him. Or wait, it didn't go off? I suck. Well, I thought I saved his life. God damn it. Oh well. And even though this gear actually sucks, it's got its own feel to it. Like, it animates in different ways. My swords, like, glow and have specific animations simply for the swords. So it feels like they're trying on gear again. Even though it's terrible, they're at least trying. I do actually like these swords. I just hate the rest of the monk gear. So maybe it's just a bad season for monks. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.